Our next guest has big plans for the border. In his run for the White House 2024, he is Governor Christie. First off, Governor, I don't know how well you know the mayor, but I don't know if you could blame him for not having an exit strategy when these illegal aliens don't belong here and they can't work here.
Well, President Biden created the problem during the campaign.
Same party.
Right? During the campaign in 2020, when he sent the signal to everybody across the border, if I win, the border's open and you can come across. Now, here's the one place where I will blame Mayor Adams and other people in his party, the local officials. They all said they were sanctuary cities and sanctuary states.
True.
Right? And so they said it, Brian, when there was no cost to it. Now, all of a sudden, they get a president who is letting everybody in over the border, and now they're saying this is unfair. So both sides of the Democratic Party, the local and state officials and President Biden, are to blame here, and they're creating chaos in our cities. And that's why when I'm president, day one, National Guard to the border to work with Customs and Border Patrol to stop fentanyl from coming over the border and killing our citizens. We need to do that right away.
But we watched President Trump try to make sanctuary city status illegal, and the courts stopped him. And you know you get these Democratic appointed judges and the Republican appointed judges. How do you stop when the legal system says they can do it?
Let me ask you a question. You think if Mayor Adams had to do all over again, he'd say it was a sanctuary city? I don't think so. I think what they're learning...
So you think they might change that?
I think they might. And I think if they had a president who they thought would partner with them to restore law and order to their cities, which is exactly what I'm going to do, Brian. I'm going to instruct the Attorney General to have the U.S. attorneys in every one of these lawless cities have the feds enforce law against violent crime, put these violent criminals that are ruining the quality of life in federal prison. If Alvin Bragg cares more about prosecuting Donald Trump for a 7-year-old porn star payment than he does about cleaning up the streets, then I'll do it as president.
Same as the Georgia prosecutor, too.
Exactly right.
All right, let's talk about New Jersey. I think you know a lot about that. The Governor Murphy, who you've been critical of before, now is parental notification policy. He says no more telling parents about their kids possibly transitioning or using pronouns. Your stand?
Look, I told the voters in New Jersey in 2017 when he was running, when he said he wanted to make New Jersey the California of the East, that he meant it. And this is another example of it. There is no one who should know that issue more than the parents. Parents love their children more than people anywhere else.
So you like a governor getting involved either way?
What I like the governor doing is putting parents in charge, Brian. Let the parents decide. No one loves our children, knows our children, or can care for our children more than the mother and father. You and I know that as fathers, and we shouldn't have any governor getting in the middle of it.
All right. Tim Scott came out and he said, I don't like the he's on the stage, you're on the stage. He says, I don't like the criteria of national polls. He said, I want state-by-state polls, especially early state polls, to define the criteria. So go to Alabama, week 3, 4, 5 debates. Do you back Tim Scott on this?
Well, I've always said that I think we don't have a national primary. So national polls, to me, are much less important. No, we're not all voting on one day. In fact, this race will change significantly after Iowa votes, and we've seen that happen before. The race will change again after New Hampshire votes, and again after South Carolina votes. So I think that makes a lot of sense.
So you back Tim Scott?
Yeah, look, Tim and I agree on this, and I think that what we need to be doing, we've gotten this race pretty narrowed now as it is. My guess is there'll only be 6 of us on the stage at Reagan, and we'll get less as we go forward because money will dry up. And, you know, look, I'm at 14% in New Hampshire in second place. The idea that I have to worry about what the national polls are seems kind of crazy to me.
When I think of the space program, I think of Elon Musk, and I also think of Christie, because I know you're very involved in the UFO program.
Yeah, thank you.
NASA is set to release its UFO report this morning. What are you going to be looking for?
I just hope they're completely transparent, like I said in the debate, Brian. Let's let everybody know. This is ridiculous that folks don't know what it's about. And I'm glad that I've become the Republican Party expert on UFOs. And I thank the first debate for establishing that for me.
Some good news. Mexico has a body, and it looks like we can take them. The body that they unveiled yesterday is an alien with 3 fingers, is about 3 feet tall, and I believe looks exactly like E.T. And I think as a race, I think we'll prevail. Do you believe we'll prevail?
Look, I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at me and you. I like our chances.
You do?
I do. I like our chances very much. Despite the fact that we're both Mets fans, which means we're not winning much this summer, I like our chances against that guy.
This is a guy who lives in New Jersey, but is a Cowboy fan.
Yeah.
So you watched them beat up on the Giants. Any regrets about being a Cowboy fan?
I've been a Cowboy fan since I'm 7. No regrets. You are what you are, Brian. How about in this world we all be who we are instead of trying to pretend to be something else? I'm a Cowboys fan. Some days it's good. But here's the thing. We haven't won anything for 30 years. So we're suffering a bit like a Met fan, too. We haven't won anything in almost 36 years. So I'm suffering along with my fandom.
So maybe to heal the suffering, become president and mandate a Cowboy Super Bowl.
I only wish I could. Jerry would love that.
He would.
If we mandated a Super Bowl. How about this? Just mandate they be competitive. That's all we're looking for.
Governor Chris Christie, thanks so much. Best
Brian,
of luck out there.
Thank you,
Look
man.
forward to seeing you stage in a couple of weeks.
Thank you, sir.